In the sprawling virtual landscape of Fortnite, where every match is a pulse-pounding race for survival, nobody expected real danger to slip through the cracks of digital warfare. But for Alex, a casual gamer with a knack for finding trouble, a regular evening game transformed into a chilling ordeal. Alex was the kind of player who preferred the shadows, sniping from a distance rather than engaging in close combat. That night, he decided to join a squad game, linking up with 3 players he didn't know: Tagger, Lumi, and Spark88. They seemed cool enough, if a little too intense about their strategies. But hey, it was just a game, right? As they dropped from the battle bus, soaring over the jagged peaks of frosty flights, the squad was in high spirits, chattering over the headsets with the usual banter. Alex, tucked in his cozy room with just the glow of the screen illuminating his face, felt a strange sense of camaraderie. That was, until Tagger's voice cut through the chatter with a sharp edge. "Hey Alex, follow my lead, okay? We'll flank the North Tower. There's always good loot there." His voice sounded different, hollow, as if echoing from a deep well. Alex shrugged it off as a glitch, but the eerie tone lingered in his ears. As the game progressed, Tagger's commands grew increasingly bizarre, directing them through risky, deserted paths that somehow paid off with top-tier loot. "Stick with me, Alex, and keep your eyes open," Tagger whispered, his voice now a constant static-filled murmur in Alex's headset. By the time they reached the final circles, only 10 players were left. The storm's edge was a constant threat, and the air was tense with the focus of impending combat. That's when Alex heard it, soft at first, then growing louder. A faint, almost imperceptible whisper that wasn't coming from any of his squad mates. It was a voice muttering numbers and what sounded like coordinates. "Did you guys hear that?" Alex asked, his voice tight with unease. "Hear what?" Lumi responded, her tone distracted by the chaos of the shrinking zone. The whispering grew louder, turning into a harsh, grating chant. Alex's heart pounded as the voice overlapped with Tagger's, making it impossible to tell them apart. He muted his microphone, the game's sounds now a distant backdrop to the frightening whispers in his headset. Then, silence. Abruptly, all communication from his team cut off. His screen flickered, and for a terrifying moment, Alex thought he saw a shadow flick across his room, reflected in the screen's glow. Rationally, he knew it was just his mind playing tricks on him, fueled by the tension of the game and the creepy voice. But as he spun his character around to back up against an in-game wall, he felt a chilling breeze like a whisper against his neck. "Alex, behind you!" Spark88 suddenly shouted into the headset, back online. Alex turned his character just in time to see an opponent's avatar lunging toward him with a pickaxe. He reacted instinctively, his fingers flying over the controls, dispatching the avatar with a well-placed shot. His heart was racing, not just from the narrow in-game escape, but from the unshakable feeling that someone was watching him. As the game ended, with their squad miraculously winning, the whispering resumed, this time a mocking applause that felt like it was coming from right behind him. Shaken, Alex ripped off his headset and stood up, scanning his room. Everything was normal, his posters staring back at him, his window securely locked. He decided he needed a break from Fortnite, maybe from all gaming for a while. Later that night, as he tried to sleep, the whispers returned, echoing around his room. This time, he wasn't wearing a headset. Alex lay frozen in fear, realizing that the game had somehow brought something back with him, something that had crossed from the digital world into his reality. What do you think? Would you have the nerve to put the headset back on? Or would you, like Alex, find yourself listening for whispers in the silence of your room? Melanie, an avid Fortnite player, loved the thrill of the game, the storm closing in, the frantic loot hunts, the sudden shootouts. It was a way to unwind after long days spent navigating the complexities of college life. She'd played countless matches, often teaming up with friends and occasionally joining random squads. But one evening, a harmless session spiraled into an encounter that was anything but virtual. It started as a typical night. Melanie fired up her console and hopped into a game, deciding to go solo in a squad match to challenge herself. As the game loaded, she was randomly assigned to a team with 3 other players: Shadow Raven, Draco Fox, and Quiet Storm. Draco Fox and Quiet Storm seemed friendly enough, cracking jokes and strategizing over the headsets. Shadow Raven, however, remained silent, his avatar following Melanie's every move with unsettling precision. As they navigated the map, Melanie couldn't shake the feeling that Shadow Raven's silence was charged, heavy with intention. His character mimicked her actions too closely, his shots always covering her back as if he was physically there, watching her. "Hey, Shadow Raven, you got a mic?" Melanie asked, trying to break the tension. No response, just the sound of gunfire and distant explosions. Halfway through the match, as the squad huddled in a makeshift fort, Melanie's real-world doorbell rang. Startled, she glanced at the time. 11 p.m. Who could it be at this hour? She told her squad to cover her avatar, put down her controller, and approached the door with apprehension. Peering through the peephole, Melanie saw no one. Just the dimly lit hallway of her apartment building. Thinking it was a prank, she returned to her game. But then, her phone buzzed. An unknown number sending a text. "Nice game, Melanie." Chills ran down her spine. How did they know her name? Her username wasn't her real name, and she hadn't shared personal info with anyone in the game. She texted back, demanding to know the identity of the sender. "Look outside," was the reply. Against her better judgment, Melanie went to a window. Down in the street below, a figure stood, phone in hand, looking up at her. The figure waved slowly. Melanie's heart raced. The figure was dressed just like Shadow Raven's avatar. Panicking, she dialed the police and reported a stalker. By the time officers arrived, the figure had disappeared, but the incident left Melanie shaken. She decided to stay over at a friend's place for the night, unwilling to be alone. The next day, Melanie received an email. No subject, no sender's address visible. The message was brief. "Sorry if I scared you. I just wanted to see the real person behind the avatar. You play well." Melanie reported the email to the police, and they started an investigation, but nothing came of it. The intrusion into her personal life from the virtual world was a harsh wake-up call. Melanie changed her gaming ID, updated her privacy settings, and became wary of interacting with unknown players. Now, think about it. How safe do you feel in your online worlds? Are you sure there's no one watching, waiting to leap from the digital shadows into your reality? Melanie sure thought she was safe, but one unnerving night proved otherwise. Jackson was a competitive Fortnite player, known in the gaming community for his quick reflexes and strategic mind. His channel on a popular streaming platform had amassed a significant following, with fans tuning in to watch his skilled gameplay and lively commentary. One particular evening, as a storm raged outside in the real world, Jackson decided to host a special live stream event titled "Survive the Night," inviting viewers to join him in-game for a marathon session. As the event kicked off, Jackson's room was bathed in the soft light of his dual monitors, the storm outside providing a dramatic backdrop to his game-themed decor. His chat was active, with fans cheering and offering up strategies. Among the usernames, one stood out, Nightprowler_88. They hadn't interacted much in the past, but tonight, Nightprowler_88 was particularly engaged, offering up tactical advice and predicting enemy moves with uncanny accuracy. "Hey, Night Prowler, you seem to know your way around a fight. Want to squad up?" Jackson offered, intrigued by the viewer's insights. "Thought you'd never ask," came the swift reply in chat. As Night Prowler _88 joined the game, Jackson felt a slight unease. Something about the way the avatar moved and reacted was almost too precise, too human. But he brushed it aside, attributing it to the player's skill and perhaps some nerves on his part. They played several rounds, their teamwork improving with each match. Night Prowler _88 saving Jackson in more than a few close calls. "Man, you're like my guardian angel tonight," Jackson joked on the stream, the viewer count ticking higher as word spread of their successful team-up. However, the mood shifted when the power flickered in Jackson's house, a surge of electricity causing his screens to black out momentarily. When the light stabilized, Jackson noticed a file on his desktop that he hadn't downloaded, a recording labeled Watch_me, MP4. Curiosity piqued and a bit of trepidation in his heart, Jackson clicked on the file. The video opened with a view of his own house, recorded from the street. The camera panned slowly, a deep, distorted voice overlaying the footage. "Always watching, Jackson." His heart pounding, Jackson turned off the video and checked his surroundings. The storm outside had intensified, the sound of the wind howling like specters in the night. He messaged Night Prowler _88, asking if they knew anything about the video, but the user had disappeared from the game and was no longer responding in chat. Jackson called the police, reporting the video and explaining his situation. As they took his statement, he couldn't help but feel exposed, his usual confident demeanor shattered by the realization that someone out there was not just watching his streams, but his home as well. The investigation revealed that the video had been uploaded through an unsecured network connection, likely taken advantage of during the brief power surge. Jackson spent the following weeks upgrading his home security and became much more cautious about sharing personal information online. The incident left a mark on Jackson's streaming career. He was less open, more guarded. His interactions with fans became strictly professional, the friendly banter replaced by a subtle wariness. Night Prowler _88 never reappeared, their account deleted, but the mystery of their identity and intentions lingered in Jackson's mind. "So, what do you think? How closely do you monitor who's watching when you're online?" Jackson thought he knew, but one chilling reminder showed him that the digital world could have real-world dangers lurking in the shadows. "Always keep an eye out, folks. You never know who might be watching." If you want to see more horror stories, check out my next video.